everyone, and thanks for checking in with us at Funeral Innovations Trends, Tips, and Technology, where we chat with professionals in the funeral industry to discuss marketing trends, business tips, and technology innovation, and chat about how digital marketing helps you better serve your families. I'm Heather Muzieski at Funeral Innovations.
And I'm Joey. I'm the Marketing and Design Coordinator at Funeral Innovations.
And today we're super happy to have two folks from Selected Independent Funeral Homes here. We have Amy Hunt and Rob Paterkiewicz. Did I say that right, Rob?
Perfect.
All right, thank you. So thanks so much for joining us, you guys. And just can you start by telling us who you are and a little bit about Selected?
Sure. So Selected Independent Funeral Homes is a nonprofit trade association. We represent independently owned and operated funeral homes on a global level. We were established back in 1917, so have been working within funeral service for quite some time. The mission of the organization is to really deliver innovative and pertinent resources, tools, solutions, support to help push excellence within our current and our future members, each of whom is striving to be the very best in funeral service. I think what makes Selected a little bit unique within the Funeral Service Association world is that our membership is by invitation only. Our members are very involved in that process, from making a recommendation through approving each new member that joins Selected, and that invitation is extended only after a careful review of the firm's professionalism, reputation, commitment to being ethical, and professional practices. I think the other thing that kind of sets this organization apart is the fact that our members are, they accept the fact that they're going to be students and teachers at the same time. And so there's a tremendous amount of interaction that takes place virtually and face-to-face. And it's really what makes this organization so unique is this level of interaction and sharing that our members have with each other. So yeah, that's a little background on who Selected is, and we are certainly excited to be with you guys today to talk a bit about our annual meeting.
Cool. Do you think you guys could talk about your individual roles at Selected a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
I'm Amy Hunt, Director of Meetings and Education. So I have been with Selected since 2003. Started in a different role and moved into the meetings position in about 2008. So I do oversee all of our meetings, work with speakers, who have our programming work group as a volunteer member committee that helps plan our different meetings, obviously communicate with the board, as well. And I have the pleasure of also getting to facilitate our Selected Leadership Academy. So that's been a really neat program that we've started almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah. And I'm Rob Paterkiewicz. I'm the Chief Executive Officer here. I've been with Selected since 2007. So very heavily involved in all of the operational aspects of the company, and certainly on a more strategic level with the board of directors, and doing everything I can to keep up with this amazing staff that we have, who are here working, every day.
Terrific. So part of the reason we asked you guys to come right now is because of the pandemic. Your annual meeting is going to be held virtually. I think most people at this time are familiar that understand that most of the trade shows or annual meetings are being held virtually. And I just wanted you guys to talk a little bit about what that's going to look like and what attendees can expect. I know it's happening from September 30th to October 2nd. So let us know what that's going to be like.
So obviously for us, we had intended to be in Montreal. So with the border closure, we really didn't have any opportunity to be able to go across. So the nice thing is we do have technology now that allows us to do that, to still gather, keep our tradition and move forward. So in making the decision to transition, I think we were very committed to trying to retain as much of the flavor that we find when we gather together as we possibly could. So what we have chosen to do is we're using a platform that is being built by our AV partner currently, so we could have more say in the look and feel of it. We're trying to make it very simple. We know how overwhelming these past few months have been for people. So trying to make it a comfortable, easy experience, very obvious of where you find different things and how you get into the platform itself. And then we're going to actually be using for our live interactions, Zoom, because we know almost everyone has been on a Zoom call at some point in the past few months. So again, wanting to try to make it as easily accessible, as comfortable as possible in amidst a lot of changes. So some of the exciting things that we have based off of our dashboard as the main page, be very obvious to go into our live sessions. Very self-explanatory. That will be where we have all our great speakers and all of those opportunities to connect. We will be retaining our traditional elements where we have, transition of our board of directors, and we recognize our milestone membership nominees and members involved that way. We have our remembering our colleagues tradition. So many of those things that members have come to love and that we love to be able to do for them, we've been able to retain through our agenda and program. And of course, another huge aspect of the platform is the opportunity to connect with our preferred partners, very valuable experts and knowledgeable in their fields. So we will have a partner exhibit hall that will have nearly 40 of our partners involved in and in booth areas. They'll have materials to check out 24 hours a day. That's basically on demand. And then throughout the meeting, there'll be some specific times set aside for those that maybe have some live Zooms. We do have our conversation cafe, so we have some partners featured that way. And I think so some nice interactive abilities within the partner exhibit area. There will be public chats as well in each of the booths, so that conversation can continue. Our members have always enjoyed being able to walk through and just say hi. So through the public chat element, they can do that. The really neat thing as well is we're also going to have a member-to-member chat that basically floats across every page of the dashboard. So if you are actively logged in, you will show up as someone that can be reached out to. So that can be as simple as just a chat message, but there'll also be a video option. So you could reach out and try to video directly with someone. And our preferred partners will have that ability too. If they're logged in, they can see who's there, and members can see who's active from our partners. And anytime you want to do a video with them or a chat, there's also the private chat available. So I think I'm pretty excited about that piece. Another key area that we'll have that I think really kind of speaks to who Selected is, our headquarters staff team works so hard every year for the annual meeting, and we were sad to not be able to see and have conversations. So we're going to have a live Zoom each of the 3 days of the meeting, all day of the meeting. So from 8:30 to 4:15 each day, we will have at least one or two of our headquarters staff team available to have conversation with anyone who wants to pop into our Selected Solutions Center. We will be reaching out to a couple of our key partners through the Academy. Our Academy Dean will have some time that she'll be available in there. So we'll have some scheduled opportunities, and then there'll be just some pop-ins as well. So we're happy to be able to offer that and to have that ability, because so often we love those conversations that happen in the hallway or at the registration desk as well. So it's kind of our virtual registration desk. We also will have a section for our Selected Educational Trust. The trust in recent years has really been a valuable part of the annual meeting. So we will feature them. They will have some on-demand types of resources available. And then they have a silent auction that's been done for the past several years. So by visiting their area, people can look through the silent auction, place their bids, and also find out more about the trust, which has really got some neat things that are happening right now, the Institute and other things that Bea and her team has been rolling out. So people will definitely want to get caught up on what's happening with the trust. And then finally, the other key area that we have is our Take a Break section is what we're calling it. So that's kind of just a storehouse for some on-demand opportunities that we know in the virtual world, right? Someone might just be up in the middle of the night or in between sessions or whatever it might be. So we have reached out to a couple of our contacts. Again, Marguerite Ham, our selected Leadership Academy Dean. We have a few others who will be recording some short videos, 5 minutes, 10 minutes on some specific topics, all kind of curated and designed around helping everyone kind of adapt in this atmosphere that we've been through. So some things on resilience, some meditation types of things, some laughs, find some things to just laugh, and also just some fun, links that we can put together that people can jump in and jump out of there and just try to catch their breath and relax a little bit in between.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. It sounds like there's going to be tons of different channels available for interaction. So that is super exciting. Along those lines, do you have any suggestions for how people can get the most out of attending the conference? Maybe how to prioritize their time, that kind of thing?
Great question. I think we are all very guilty of it here in the past few months of being very distracted, right? Oh yeah, okay, we're going to go to that. And then but the email just pinged that I've got to answer the email, or my dog's barking, or my child's e-learning, right? So I think probably the key thing is to adapt a mindset of, I am going to a meeting. So when we are traveling to a meeting, it's pretty obvious. We've packed our luggage, we've gotten on the airplane, and they can't see us at home. So we could get away. I think we still have to kind of embrace some of that mindset. I am going to this meeting. So block the calendar, put an out of office message on, catch your breath, put a sign on your door, I'm in a meeting, don't disturb. Recommend looking through the agenda like you would if you were going to be going to the meeting. Oh, I really have to be at that, or I really want to do this, or this is when I'm going to go look at the partners. This is when I'm going to check out the educational trust, and maybe even block that on your calendar as well. So I think a lot of it is trying to eliminate some of that distraction, really embracing it as this is your opportunity to go and really try to put yourself in that mindset and take advantage of that opportunity. And as you said, some chances too to touch base with people in unique ways that maybe you haven't picked up the phone to call or sent emails to recently. You can kind of see who else has popped on and have those conversations that we've all been missing.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be super fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to take it back a little bit. Can you explain what that educational trust is a little bit for people who don't know?
I'll let Rob take more of that.
Sure. So the Selected Educational Trust is our charitable arm. Selected established that organization back in the 80s. And it's been fairly quiet for the first decade or two, but for the last 10 years, we have really ramped up our activities in that area. So it's what we call a 501c3 organization. It is a charitable entity that's focused on lifelong learning. So it's all about education, education for the new practitioner. So we offer scholarships for second career individuals who are getting into mortuary service, mortuary science, funeral service. And then we also offer support for those who are longtime, professionals. So the trust really is focused on delivering education opportunities, as well as connecting members of Selected with future staff. So we continually are building relationships with all of the accredited mortuary science schools to be able to create a pipeline between the independent professionals as well as those who are getting into the career of funeral service. And the trust also recently just launched what's called the Institute for professional, funeral education, and it is a all online platform that we were building long before COVID came around, but it's certainly convenient now. We just launched our first class a few weeks ago, all about, the soft skills that one needs, that they may not necessarily be teaching at the mortuary colleges, but really what you need to be able to sit down with a family or to sit down with someone and help them in the arrangement, to greet somebody as they're coming into the firm, and all the other important aspects that go with that. So the trust is really a neat entity that is just exploding in growth. And there's been a tremendous amount of interest in helping to fund the activities of the trust. So we're certainly excited to see all of that growth there.
Well, thanks for that valuable service. That sounds like a great opportunity for a lot of people interested in expanding their skill set. Can you talk about who can attend the conference? Is it just selected members, or is it open?
As has always been the case, our continuing education sessions are open to anyone. So obviously primarily our members, and we have many things targeted towards them, but we definitely are open and welcome to any funeral service professional looking for continuing education. So it's very easy to register our member on our annual meeting page on our website. There are links for the different member options as well as non-member information. So.
Terrific. And then if people are members, is that included? Is it part of, or is it an extra fee for them?
We actually, yes, we have two different options. So it is a different fee structure, whether it's a view only or the continuing education piece.
Got it. That's terrific. And Joey, we can put a link to that at the end of the video if you don't mind. So we'll be sure anybody who needs to register or wants to has access to that.
That'd be great.
And so, Amy, I know you talked a little bit earlier about how you're excited for that staff conference, or for that staff Zoom conference. What else are you guys most excited about for the conference?
Well, obviously, yes, I think biggest excitement for me every year is getting to see everyone and participating. But I think beyond that, I am always really excited for our educational sessions. I work with our member volunteer programming work group that we, really look through options and opportunities. And I feel every year they really help us find some great content and speakers. And the topics this year really are a nice range of things that fit well with where we're at. So we're going to start off with Mallory Brown, who is going to talk about empathy. And we were excited about that topic before everything changed, and I think it's even more important and valuable now. So a lot of these things I think have taken on even extra meaning since we were first looking at our agenda. We also have Hayden Shaw, who I've respected for years. Hayden has been a strong advocate for multi-generations. And that topic of how we can all work together better. And now we have 5 generations in the workplace and client families, that our members are serving. So I think that message is exceptionally timely as well. And we also have Jonathan David Lewis coming back with McKee Wallwork. He presented last year in our futures session and released information on the disruption survey. So this is the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. We kind of get part 2 to that. And that session was very well received last year. So we're excited to find out what has been happening in the ensuing 12 months since that was first presented, and also some of the nuances that maybe have changed or been influenced because of the massive changes in recent months. And then of course we have our great breakout sessions, and our preferred partners are going to be highlighted in the conversation cafes, and throughout all of those being based on the Zoom platform, there's some great opportunities for interaction. So each presenter will decide what they want to do, but there'll be polls. There could be opportunities to go into smaller breakouts with other participants. There'll be chat features. And of course, for our selected members only, we do have a couple member-only sessions that are very open discussion based. So that's exciting to be able to allow those discussions and conversations to happen, even in this different format.
Yeah, I know from talking with some of our clients who are selected members, they really get a lot out of those selected membership conversations. That's very meaningful, and feels they talk about it being a great place to really ask anything or talk about anything. So Yep. So I know as a preferred partner, I was so happy with Selected, who said, we are having a conference. It will be in person or it'll be virtual, but there's none of this. Is it going to be canceled? So I just really appreciate you guys knowing that you are going to host the annual meeting no matter what. So as we've progressed through the pandemic, there was kind of at the beginning, some big changes happened, and I think things have settled down and maybe we're a little more into a routine now. But are there any trends right now that you're seeing among your membership or common themes, common threads?
There's the obvious, there's the obvious issues of having to deliver more with less, and having to navigate the ever-changing rules and regulations that the pandemic is bringing. Honestly, I think from what I hear from our members, while they are still dealing with, again, current day challenges, the trends, the issues that they were dealing with pre-COVID are still quite prevalent. The challenge of trying to find the next top staff person is critical, especially for firms in a more rural area, that may not have access to the labor pool that others might have access to. So that continues to be a big area. And as I was talking about with the Educational Trust, we're trying hard to find ways to help members with that. And I think the other issue that certainly has been out there for quite some time, especially within the independents, is trying to create a fair and smart succession plan. With family businesses, generational issues, and the challenges that funeral homes are facing, planning for the future of that business, the ownership of that business, and how the family will split that up or not split that up. That's a significant issue that, again, a lot of these independent firms are grappling with, especially now.
That wouldn't go away because of the pandemic. That's good.
No, it's only being strengthened. Yeah.
So kind of looking at the rest of the year and into next spring, are there any predictions you guys would want to make? And obviously anything can happen. It's 2020, but are there any predictions you guys have about the industry or just in general?
I predict that 2021 is going to be very much like 2020. And I think we all need to plan for that. We as a team have already begun focusing much more on scenario planning, what ifs, whether it's with our events or our programs or our members. Because I don't anticipate seeing many changes in the next year. So for us to be able to pivot with more knowledge than and experience than we've had this year, so that it's not such a shock, it's not such a surprise. The way that's going to happen is to plan accordingly.
Yeah, do you have anything, Amy?
Yeah. What are your predictions,
Obviously, I echo Rob. I think one optimistic kind of prediction I have, though, is that we will slowly start to have some things opening up. I think we are all getting better at understanding how we can safely start to bring people back together. And I think I commend our members for all they're doing in their communities to start some of that and getting our arms around what is doable. I think, regional meetings, smaller meetings, blends of the hybrid types meetings where some in person, some out. And I think, hotels and just the travel industry itself too is stepping up to allow some of that to become more comfortable as we all have kind of started to adapt that. We can find some middle ground. That's my prediction, my optimistic prediction, that we will start to kind of move forward a little bit more now.
I like this prediction. Yeah, and I just want to echo that what Rob, you said, we were just talking to someone else earlier today that was saying, you know, if you plan now, if you're troubleshooting for what could happen in the next year, you're going to be in a way better place in 5 years and 10 years than if you just wait to see what happens and react.
Right, right.
So we have one last question, and this is the question we ask everybody. So what is the biggest lesson you both have learned from serving in this industry?
Oh, go ahead. I can tell you I've learned a lot. My background is working for associations, and that's what I've been doing for 30 years, and I've worked for a number of different groups. So funeral service was not part of my background. And I think what I've learned is just how important a professional funeral director is in all aspects of pre-planning and at need. And I think sometimes they're taken for granted. So, you know, the loss of a loved one is sad and painful, but there are lasting effects of that. And, you know, part of the process to heal and to be able to move on are tied directly with the traditional funeral, with mourning the loss, with having your friends and your coworkers, you know, surround you and support you and try to help. And unfortunately, you know, we see more and more situations where people are avoiding that or choosing not to go down that road for whatever reason. But the reality is that stuff's there for, you know, that's there for a reason. And it's helpful. And again, a good professional funeral director, plays such a key role in helping, again, not just at the time of the loss, but beyond that as well.
And wholeheartedly agree. I think the only thing I would add is how much I've learned over the years of the heart and soul that our members put into what they do, who they're serving. I just had no idea before getting to understand the profession better and really meeting the members, the stories that I have heard of how many times they go above and beyond and the things that they do when no one is watching.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, true.
I think heart and soul was perfectly said. And yeah, it is a very tough job. That is for sure. Those are all the questions we have for you guys. So thank you so much, Rob and Amy, for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. And thanks for joining us this week on Funeral Innovations, Trends, Tips, and Technology. So we'll be posting this video on our blog, on our YouTube channels, and you'll be able to access it on your Facebook feed. And we'll be back with another show soon, so check back in with us next week. If you have any topics you'd like to see discussed or anyone you'd like to hear from in an interview, add it in the comments down below. And be sure to visit our website at funeralinnovations.com. Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.